What's up everybody, Stacking Surfer here. Welcome to the beach again. Got a great video for you guys today. We're gonna talk about gold and silver, but we're gonna talk about some strategies around stacking, okay? There's lots of different kinds of gold and silver you can purchase. Some of them are close to spot price. Some of them are gonna be below spot price, and others are gonna be significantly above it. Which is the best for you to stack? And how can you tell what is a good portfolio for you? How can you tell what a good strategy is for yourself, okay? So we're gonna talk about the different kinds of ways you can stack and how that looks. So let's hit it. Stacking Surfer, the life topic, I'm your best friend. Balances in your bank and stack. All right guys, so stick around until the end. I'm gonna give you my 5 tips on stacking and how to make sure that you are able to keep yourself in check. What does check mean? It means like keep you on the track of your strategy, okay? So I think there's some important things you can do there. So let's talk about it. Both gold and silver are precious metals. They have intrinsic value because of what the metal itself can do. They have also been used as money for thousands of years by many different cultures. And today, they're also used by a lot of cultures for ornamental use, for jewelry with gold, also for high-end electronics. And then for silver, you have a lot of industrial use. Solar panels, EVs, all of this green initiative that's going on around the planet. So one thing to keep out there that people don't watch very well with silver is who's in power? Are we going towards more green or are we going away from it? That can change the price of silver, so watch out for that too, guys. So let's talk about it. Right now, we have seen silver price go from the $22 range all the way up to just shy of $30 in US, okay? That's a pretty big jump. I haven't seen that jump be quite that pronounced since I've been stacking. And that big jump right there affected my bullion and my bars. So my silver that's priced closer to spot. It did not affect my semi-numismatic coins, which is kind of a sketchy term out there for people, but it did not affect my coins that are, you know, the trendy coins like Star Wars that have lower mintage like 15,000 to 30,000, or my Marvel coins, or my other coins that might have a turtle on them, or a whale or a shark or whatever else. A lot of these higher premium coins are still just silver. They're still 3/9 fine silver, but they tend to have a much higher premium when you buy them, okay? Maybe initially they're lower, but over time they will go up in value, and then a lot of times people still buy them at a much higher price. Those coins are not moving, okay? Those coins are being reduced in value, actually, and fewer people are wanting those. They're going after the bullion. I have been on a kick for multiple months now of not buying that kind of product and selling a big majority of that I have. I've been on a kick of selling the semi-numismatic coins that I have for, started that off in January. I was doing some of it last year as well, but I'm divesting myself of that. And you might ask, well, why are you doing that, Surfer? And the reason I'm doing that is I know it's not gonna move as the price of bullion goes up, and I can see the price of bullion is gonna start going up quite a bit more. Those are great coins when the price of bullion is going down. They're great coins if you're having fun with them. Those can be really fun coins to add to your stack, but I would not stack them. They're too expensive. So, you know, my number has always been to be around $29 or less for a Silver Eagle. Right now, I think they're sitting somewhere between 34 and 36, so I am not buying Silver Eagles at that price. When I'm buying my constitutional silver, I like to have that at $18 face or less. And right now, it's over 20. In a lot of places, it's about $22. So I'm not really wanting to buy that either. So primarily, most of what I'm buying at the moment is people, silver from people, or even gold for that matter, that are looking to unload, and they want to sell it. And I can provide them liquidity, and the price gets closer to spot or a little bit below that. I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody. I try to match what I can find locally and what it's selling for, and oftentimes I'll go a little higher. But with that said, I'm not accumulating these semi-numismatic coins right now because they aren't doing super well in the market. In addition to that, I want to reduce the number of SKUs I have. I'm looking for having, say, 4 SKUs in gold and at the most 10 SKUs in silver, okay? And what do I mean by a SKU? I mean the actual product, right? So I'm looking at having constitutional silver. I kind of put that into a SKU. I'll put buffaloes into a SKU. I'll put silver eagles into one, Britannias, maple leafs. So I'm trying to really reduce the kinds of coins I have. It'll make it a lot easier for my inventory control. So I've been working on that for at least 6 months. It's taken me longer to kind of move out of this, but that's something I've been trying to do. So what's the right kind of silver for you? Well, first off, if you think you might be selling some of the silver, or your gold for that matter, I think it's really important to buy it right first. And then second, it really comes down to buying the right kind of product that's going to sell easily. So generic bars can be very inexpensive, but they aren't the easiest to sell at a higher price, okay? You might be able to sell them fairly easy somewhere, but you're going to get spot or below spot price for those usually. Now, spot's going to differ, depends on what's happening in the marketplace. Sometimes everything's going for more than spot, sometimes it's always behind spot, it just depends. But regardless of that, if you have a generic bar, it's going to sell for less than a bar from one of the recognized mints, okay? But bars are going to sell for less than a sovereign coin that has a country stamp on it as well as a denomination. And those are considered legal tender in those countries. However, the denomination they put on there is usually $1 or $2 for silver and anywhere from about $50 to $100 for gold. So you're not really going to get what you pay for it. With that said, I think there's a lot of different fun product to pick up. So I do pick up some of those fun coins from time to time, but I don't stack them heavily. Gold, let's talk gold for a second too. So when I'm looking at my gold stack, I try to find product that is easy to sell as part of my portfolio, my bullion portfolio. So I will look at buffaloes and eagles primarily, but I've had Britannias, I've had maple leafs, and they're fairly easy to sell. So I think those are great. They also continue to retain their value and increase their value over time. With gold, I really have not gone crazy buying anything that's too fancy. I do have like a dragon coin and a Queen's Beast coin that have been pretty fun. But when I bought those, I bought them for about the same price, if not lower, than what a gold or a gold eagle would go for, okay? Stay away from high premium gold. I don't think it's really worth it. The other thing I've run into with the gold is fractional. So I do think fractional is good, but you got to watch out for the premiums. A lot of times, if you're going smaller than a quarter ounce, you're going to get a much steeper premium. But if you look around, you can avoid that. I've been able to find a lot of coins that are closer to like a 10% premium, not the 15% premium you see a lot. If it's over a 15% premium on the fractional gold, I'd stay away from it. So I can't give you guys financial advice, but I can tell you some of the tips that I have for that. So you got lots of options to build a portfolio. Couple things that I want to recommend that I think are helpful for people. It's helped me, is to set a goal of what you're wanting to do. So, why are you stacking? And what do you plan to do with your stack, okay? So when you're looking at your own portfolio, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this, but what I want to help you guys understand is you need to put a strategy in place, okay? So why are you stacking gold and silver in the first place, okay? For me, I stack gold for wealth insurance. I live in Southern California. Houses are super expensive here. I happen to have equity in my house, and so I want to make sure that I have enough money to cover the property taxes. What happens if I lose my job today and it takes me 3 years to get a new job, okay? I want to make sure that I can cover the property taxes for 3 years. I've never seen a situation where you can't sell a house in 3 years. Could we get into one? Maybe. I don't know what that looks like. Usually I can sell my house pretty fast, and it's a matter of lowering the price down. And if you've got enough equity in it, it might be painful, but you can usually move it and still come out on top. Gold for property taxes allows you to buy more time and not have to sell it when you may not want to, okay? In real estate, it tends to be kind of the rule is every 10 years. If you can buy a house and live in it for 10 years and cover your expenses, then you will go through at least one market cycle. So right now we've seen it go up, we've seen it starting to go down. I want to make sure I can cover that. So that's my number one situation for gold. Number two is I also see it as wealth insurance, so I want to be able to cover my portfolio of stocks that I might have, other real estate I might have, and I want to be able to shore that up in case those take a dip. Typically gold goes in the opposite direction, and so if those assets take a big dip, my gold hopefully will go up and cover that. That's why I do gold. I do not buy gold as an investment. I do not buy it to try to make money from it. No matter how hard I try, rubbing 2 gold eagles together does not produce even a 1/10 ounce or even a gram of gold. And it definitely doesn't produce another ounce of gold, okay? They don't do that. There's no yield that's coming off of that. Now, I will have some future videos that'll show you how you can own gold and earn a yield off of it. I think those will be interesting. Working on getting some of those interviews set up. So that's my gold philosophy. My silver philosophy really comes down to SHTF. So number one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take care of my family if we get into a situation where we're having to do bartering, or we get into a situation where we have hyperinflation, silver continues to go up. Maybe my earning potential is stuck, okay? Gold can help with this a lot too. Usually takes silver a little bit of time to catch up with it. We may even have situations where we don't have the ability to use banks, ATMs. Maybe we don't even have electricity working. Silver can come in handy to be a form of money for you, okay? The other thing I like to do with silver is I like to collect some collectible pieces that have low mintage, that are really fun and have meaning to me. Also, as a stacker, I've bought stuff that I figured I would use as inventory for auctions, and I've decided I hate auctions. I don't want to do them. So I'm actually in the process of liquidating all of that inventory right now. Hello, how are you doing?
Are you live?
No, I'm not live. You guys, who's this?
I thought I'd photobomb you.
So here, let me come over by you so it does this. Say hi, Maria.
Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
It's going awesome.
How's the trips? You guys have been all over the place.
I've been to Panama, Hawaii. We're going to Cancun for a Dr. Joe Dispenza thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's making up for not traveling for a few years. We got a lot of catching up to do.
I think it's awesome. So for those people that have the Drew Brophy silver coin, what do you say to them?
You are a wise investor.
I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome. So when I'm looking at silver, guys, I do have fun collectibles like the Drew Brophy coin, right? Those I just like to hold on to and collect, but I try not to have too much of it. Now, as a stacker, I have bought more than I probably should have, because I thought, hey, I'm going to do auctions. I found out that doing auctions is not only not profitable for me because I don't want to push people to pay more than what a coin's worth. I have a really hard time if someone's doing that, if they're just jacking the price up and they're going for it. It's not how I want to make my money. I also really don't want to deal with the inventory stuff and all the shipping and everything else. It distracts me from making videos, which is primarily what I want to do, and from time with my family. So be careful when you're buying collectible type of silver with low mintage. Don't overpay for it, don't buy too much of it. For some of us, it's kind of hard, maybe even a little addicting. Be careful on that. So you got to figure out the reasons you're doing it. So for me, gold is wealth insurance. Silver is money to use, okay? I may never use it in those situations, so I don't go crazy with it. So my rule of thumb with gold is to have 1 ounce of gold for every $50,000 of net worth you're trying to protect, okay? You may have a totally different view on that, but that's kind of a rule of thumb I've been going off of. For silver, I've looked at having a $100 face of constitutional silver. You guys may call it junk. I try to buy stuff that looks nice enough I can call it constitutional silver. And I like to have about $100 face per person in my household, whether they're living in my house or not. I want to have that. I've heard people going as high as 1,000. That seems pretty excessive to me. And that looks like you're expecting some major apocalypse and that you're going to be using silver for a very long time. Honestly, I think if we get into a situation like that, a silver dime that might be worth $2 today is probably going to be worth more like $10 or $20 in purchase power. You probably don't need 1,000 ounces of it, okay? Not financial advice, just my thoughts on that. The other thing I look to do with silver is I also like to have silver for paying the bills. So my other goal is to get 1 year's worth of expenses in silver, and then 2 years worth of expenses in silver, and then if I can, all the way up to 3 years. If I can get 3 years worth, I feel pretty good about that. That number is going to vary for each of you, okay? And that silver can come in the form of bars, rounds, coins. I have had larger bars. I've sold all my 100-ounce bars. I've sold all of my kilos. I've sold all my 10-ounce bars, and I've sold almost all my 5-ounce bars. And I'm now really just focusing on 1-ounce coins and rounds. And the reason for that is it's an easier product to sell back if I need to. It's an easier product for people to recognize. And it's in a lower denomination. What happens if silver goes up to $1,000, $2,000, and the United States IRS does not recognize or up the amount of silver for reporting purposes? You don't want to be stuck with a 100-ounce bar trying to sell that and having to deal with major reporting issues. And you also don't want to have to move that much silver when you may not want to sell that much silver. And most of us don't have the tools to cut a 100-ounce bar into 10 pieces, okay, or even 100 pieces. You're not going to be able to do that. So that's kind of my rule of thumb of what I'm looking for. Outside of that, I try to put my money into other things that are going to produce income. So one of the first things I recommend doing is paying off your loans, pay off your debt, get completely debt-free. I'm not saying you got to follow Dave Ramsey, guys, okay? I think he has some good advice when you're trying to get out of credit card debt. I think mutual funds suck. I would not buy those. I think they're horrible. Too many fees, you really can't make the earnings that you're looking for. I think that's garbage. I wouldn't do that. Now you got the Robert Kiyosaki camp, which will say go and leverage yourself to hilt. Don't do that for your personal stuff, okay, guys? Build a foundation. My family got nailed and pretty much destroyed in 2008, and if it wasn't for my parents having their house paid off and cars paid off, they would have lost everything, okay? I think it's a smart way to go. It's what my wife and I have decided to do. We're going to get everything paid off, right? So with that said, I do think leverage is very beneficial when you're doing real estate investing or you're running a business. If you've got enough cash flows coming in, you can do leverage to grow your business, and that's smart money there. I wouldn't do it on your personal residence though, and if you don't have a lot of money to have a personal residence paid off and do investing, you may want to consider renting. You may want to consider buying a smaller home or living in a state where it's less expensive. Okay, those are different things you can look at. You can't eat gold and silver. So one of the things you need to do before you go and buy more gold and silver is you need food storage. If you don't have at least 30 days of food storage and at least 1 week's worth of water in your house, okay, apartment, wherever you live, in my opinion, I'd stop buying gold and silver right now to go buy that. Okay, that's the most important thing to go get. If we get into a situation where we have a cyber attack, the electricity goes out, or the banks are shut down for a period of time, it really could be an entire 30 days, okay? If people aren't showing up to work, your water will stop flowing, your electricity will stop flowing, okay? So you do need to get prepared for these things. My recommendation is a year's worth of food and at least 30 days worth of water for every family member. If you can store more water, go for it. Get a year's worth of water stored up. If you can have a lake or a river near your home and you can filter the water, then that might count for that as well. If you've got a well, then great. Living here in the city area, you've got to find room in your garage to put it or in your house. That can be really hard. But my rule of thumb is a year's worth of food and at least a month's worth of water for each family member. Now it's a goal. You get there. I don't think you need to go sell all your gold and silver to do that, but if you're stacking silver and gold on a regular basis, I would consider peeling some of that off, starting to add to your food and water stack. Okay, I think that's important. Anyway, those are kind of the words I'd give you guys. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe and the bell icon. And also consider a membership. I've got memberships. They start at $2.99 per month. And a couple perks that we get with it is you get a cool sticker until those are gone. I'm only making 100 of them and then we're done. And then you also have our monthly Zoom calls. And you get to ask me any question you guys want. You also have access to my text messaging if you want to send me a text, or to my email. And I do prioritize those for people that are members. So think about joining this membership. You can hit the link down below. It'll say join right below this box that you're seeing the video, or you can also look in the description of the video. It'll have that there too. So check out these other videos, you guys. I think you'll enjoy these too. They talk a lot about what we're addressing here, which is gold and silver stacking. And until next time, peace out.